uniform curriculum framework. Clause 4. There shall be no common syllabus for the first language as it is specific to each state, but the objective to achieve framework आपके सामने यहाँ वक्फ है.
Shrimati Akshara. Honorable Speaker Madam, children from different economic background go to different standards of school, but when they are up for building a career, they are evaluated by a common scale which is easy for four of you and other for those and the others. A poor student from a board corporation school and a rich student from an ICSE boarding school are asked to face the same test when they are to jump in IIT or IISE. Uniform education is not only necessary, crucial and economic equality, but also essential to promote fraternity, assuring the dignity of an individual and unity and integrity of the nation. मेरे ख्याल से एक आखिरी पाठ्यक्रम हमारे शिक्षा क्षेत्र को भी प्रभावशाली बनाने में
Honorable Chairperson Ma'am, thank you for giving me this opportunity. I would like to draw the attention of this august House to the catastrophe faced by the people of Kerala due to attacks from stray dogs. The cases of stray dogs are increasing in the state of Kerala. It created a panic amongst the people, especially amongst the pedestrians, people moving on two-wheelers and school-going children. People are compelled to take rabies injection for bites, even from pet dogs. Ma'am, I hereby join the families and relatives of the victim of violence from stray dogs, including a little child, Muhammad Razan, of Kalendra locality belonging to my constituency, who was attacked.
Uplifting women with noble intentions of making them empowered. And if they really mean to do what they say, then this bill has to see the light of the day. Thank you, ma'am.
185.4 मिलीमीटर वर्षापात के तुलना में मात्र 287.2 मीटर वर्षापात हुई है, जो कि लक्ष्य से 41% कमी है। ऐसे ही बिहार के 91% किसान सूखे से बुरी तरह प्रभावित हैं। बिहार में धान की खेती 35 लाख हेक्टेयर के लक्ष्य निर्धारित है, परंतु अभी तक मात्र 17 लाख हेक्टेयर में ही धान की रोपनी हुई है, जो कि लक्ष्य से मात्र 41.8% है। वर्षापात की कमी के कारण जल की लेयर काफ़ी कम हो गई है, जिसके पंप से भी जल का शोधन नहीं हो पा रहा है। हालांकि बिहार सरकार ने किसानों की मदद के लिए डीजल अनुदान की है। निगर्तित करने के लिए फैसले के लिए धान की फसल बर्बाद बक्सर, औरंगाबाद, रोहता, नालंदा और अरवल सहित कई ऐसे ज़िले हैं। इसके अलावा जहां नहरों में सिंचाई के लिए पर्याप्त पानी नहीं है, अन्य छोटी छोटी बरसाती नदियों में भी पानी नहीं है। आहर पानी के लिए सब सूख चुके हैं। स्थिति भी बहुत भावी है। केंद्र सरकार से तत्काल कदम उठाने की ज़रूरत है। मैं आपके माध्यम से केंद्र सरकार से अनुरोध करती हूं कि बिहार में एक उच्च टीम भेजकर सूखे की स्थिति का आकलन कराया जाए। बिहार को सूखापन से बचाया जाए करने की देश में तुरंत आवश्यक किया जाए। महोदया, स्थिति बहुत खराब है। मैं आपके संशोधन से चाहती हूँ। मैं आपके माध्यम से सरकार से
affects the life of students. There are millions of students in this country who aspire to get into the IITs, NITs and IITs and other institutes of national eminence. They get into these institutes through the joint entrance exam, JEE. They got only limited chances to write this exam, namely 3 times to write the mains and twice to write the advanced JEE. The last attempt for the batch of 2020 was in this year. But there were many computer glitches during the exam, like the screen was frozen, the questions were appearing and disappearing, there were power outages, and in fact, in some cases, the exam center was changed in the last minute and the students were not informed in advance through SMS or email. So many of them have exhausted their third attempt this year and they cannot write another attempt. I would urge the Minister of Education to advise the National Testing Agency to give an exemption for these students who appeared in the exam, write the exam in 2023, particularly the school leaving batch of 2020. We cannot let technological glitches mar the future of aspiring Indians who want to get into the institutes of higher education. I request you to look into this matter. Thank you, ma'am.
August House, where the International Vizhinjam Seaport Limited was floated in 2015. For the last 140 days, the fishermen community of Vizhinjam has been on a huge agitation, mainly because their life and livelihood have been destroyed by the construction of the seaport, which is being done by a private group called Adani. The seaport construction is going on, and on the northern side, there has been a huge sea erosion. 300 families, I repeat, 300 families have been living in a cemented go-down for the last 4 years. Last 4 years, I repeat. This particular fisherman community has contributed its land ages before for the development of the Vikram Sarabhai Space Center. The church, the bishop house and the cemetery. Everything was demolished for the development of the huge organization of national importance. The allegation the state government is making is that the fisherman community is against the development of the port, which is not right. They have been in touch and they have given all the support for the development of the port. But the fisherman community's life and livelihood are being disturbed. A central package should be announced for their rehabilitation. Rupees 5,500 was the only amount which was sanctioned for giving rent. I would like the central government also to declare a package because this is a very important port. Madam, a scientific committee has to be appointed where the interests of the local fishermen, the sea erosion, etc. should be studied. The state government was saying that they would use Adani's CSR funds for the rent, which is not acceptable. This is a very genuine demand. The central government should look into it. Thank you, ma'am.
I need this opportunity to raise an important matter during the 0 hour. This is regarding the new education policy. I would like to bring to the notice of the Honorable Education Minister that recently the Government of India has come up with a proposal to merge some primary education schools with some secondary education schools. It is in fact a good scheme, but in this process of its implementation, some of the states, for example, in my own state of Andhra Pradesh, around 5,980 schools were planned to be moved away from rural areas to nearby areas which would be 8 to 10 kilometers distant from their present locations. And consequently, there has been a drop-off of around 11 lakh students in rural areas. Recently, the High Court of Andhra Pradesh has also made an observation that it appears that it is against the principle of right to education, and such an action is likely to affect a lot of students belonging to the OBC, SC and ST communities who cannot afford to go to the private schools and are solely dependent on those schools for education. So I would like to appeal the government to have a discussion with the state, so neither the number of schools are reduced nor the number of students are reduced. This is my humble request.
Only to select graduates to enter into the PG courses and not for the job appointments. For the past 39 years, this system has been going on, which intends to select the graduates to enter into the PG courses, be it Masters of Engineering, Masters of Technology, PhD and so on. But yesterday, in Nayavedi Lignite Corporation, about 299 people have been selected and their certificates have already been verified. Ma'am, of late, the Government of India has advertised the public sector undertaking to select people for employment from GATE. How can this be done? Ma'am, the employment opportunities should be taken care of by keeping in view the social justice policy and reservation policy, which intends to give the reservation to SC, ST, OBC and Adivasi segments of the country. But what has happened is this government is not interested to follow the social justice policy. This is why they have circumvented this policy. I would conclude it in a sentence. Ma'am, any appointment done this way is not correct. They should consider the existing policy of Government of India. They have to consider reservation policy. They have to consider social justice policy. I want to know whether the Government of India is going against the social justice policy of the reservation policy.
2021, significantly lower than Brazil, South Africa, China and Russia. In 2019 and 20, 60% of all men aged 15 years and more had regular salaries or self-employment work, and in contrast, the figure was only 19% for women. The India Discrimination Report 2022 of Oxfam also stated that the low participation was mostly due to gender discrimination in income and opportunities, wherein the wages for women are reportedly lower by 83% due to discrimination and 17% due to the lack of education and job experience. There is discrepancy in incomes between men and women in regular and self-employment in urban areas, and the average earning of a man is nearly 2.5 times that of a woman. I would therefore request the government to take necessary actions to bridge the gender gap in labour participation, offer incentives such as higher compensation, training, skill acquisition and job quotas to encourage the hiring of women. Thank you, ma'am.
Srimati rural areas do not have access to education and job opportunities because of the digital divide and digital illiteracy in the country. The Pradhan Mantri Gramin Digital Saksharta Abhiyan scheme was rolled out in 2017 to usher in digital literacy in rural India. The scheme was expected to make 6 crore rural households, that is, 1 person per household digital literate by 2019. Although steps were taken to adequately implement the scheme, this goal was not met by 2019. In the budget of 2022-23, allocation to the scheme has been decreased by 16.67% as compared to the revised and budget estimates for the year 2021-22. This decrease in the budget, especially in the current tech-savvy times. As per ITU's World Telecom Database, only 43% of the population in India uses internet. There are 58% male internet users and 42% female internet users. The National Family Health Survey 2019-21 shows a significantly larger gender gap in internet usage. The NFHS report suggests that only 57.1% of the male population and 33.3% of the female population had ever used the internet. This is a matter of great concern as inability to use computers and electronic devices was one of the causes of high dropout rates amongst girls during the pandemic. I urge upon the government to scale up digital literacy programs as to bridge the digital divide between rural and urban India. Thank you very much.
सिग्नल पर खड़ा हवलदार 100 रुपए में मेहरबान है, लेकिन मेरा देश महान है। इलेक्शन का मुद्दा बनता जवानों का बलिदान है। अभिनंदन के वापस आने में हर नेता का योगदान है। पंखे पर लटक रहा हर घर में किसान है, लेकिन मेरा देश महान है। टिकटॉक के बैन होने पर हर जनता परेशान है और लूट रही बेटी की हर मोहल्ले में आन है। ट्विटर पे क्या ट्रेंडिंग है, इससे युवा परेशान है। नर्क में जाए करप्शन, अरे अपलोड हुआ इंस्टाग्राम है, लेकिन मेरा देश महान है ना?
Late Dr. Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam and Professor Yashpal, I beg to pass the bill Uniform Curriculum Framework to provide uniform education throughout India. Ma'am, the House is aware of the fact that right to education under Article 21 of the Constitution has to be connected with Article 14, Article 15 and Preamble of the Constitution, and there must be no discrimination in the quality of education throughout the territory of India. Thus, a common syllabus and a common curriculum is required. Education must be without any discrimination on the basis of child's social, economic and cultural background. A uniform syllabus is the need of ours in time. Entrance examination to the personal colleges are conducted based on a nationwide test with a common syllabus. The main clauses of this bill are: Clause 1. It defines uniform curriculum as a common program of study that is nationwide uniformity in content and standard. Clause 2. All the schools in India, government, both central and state, shall follow the same curriculum. Clause 3. Education, including technical education, medical education and universities, will remain in the concurrent list. The NCERT and the CBSE will remain in the concurrent list and shall collaborate the new uniform curriculum framework. Clause 4. There shall be no common syllabus for the first language as it is specific to each state, but the objective to achieve each level shall be uniform. Clause 5. Vocational training shall be region-specific and uniform syllabus shall be followed for mathematics, science and social science. Uniform syllabus shall not be effective in pre-primary and primary classes. Clause 6. The teachers shall be given pre-training by NCTE as it is National Council of Teachers Education, and selection of teachers will be made by the state from the pool of teachers who have qualified to the eligibility of teaching. Madam, मुझे पूरा यकीन है कि पार्लियामेंट के सभी रुकन इस बिल को पूरे दिल से अपनाएंगे। इसके तरफ से पूरे हिंदुस्तान में सबक की यकसानियत लाई जा सकती है। यूसीएफ का फ्रेमवर्क आपके सामने यहाँ पर वक्फ है।
Was laid by the respected minister, and I strongly support this bill. In India, children from different economic background go to different standards of school, but when they are asked for building a career, they are evaluated by a common scale, which is easy for you and those for the others. A poor student from a board corporation school and a rich student from an ICSE boarding school are asked to face the same test when they are to jump in IIT or IISE. Uniform education is not only necessary, crucial and economic equality, but also essential to promote fraternity and assuring the dignity of an individual and unity and integrity of the nation. मेरे ख्याल से एक आखिरी पाठ्यक्रम हमारे शिक्षा क्षेत्र को प्रभावशाली बनाने में सहायक सिद्ध हो सकता है। इससे छात्रों की शिक्षा स्तर का गुणवत्ता को हम उसकी चरम सीमा तक पहुंचा सकते हैं, जिसके द्वारा हमारे देश की प्रगति भी संभव है। देश भर की पाठ्यक्रम में एक सहज रूप लाने का जिम्मा हम उठाते हैं, तो भारतीय स्तर के विकास को कोई रोक नहीं सकता। At last but not the least, I conclude that the task of quality education for all, same books for the rich and the poor, same education for rural and urban, and uniform syllabus for the entire nation.
Honorable Speaker, ma'am, I would like to oppose the bill stated by my fellow MP. I would repeat myself, oppose the bill. This bill may result in many consequences, like the students may miss learning things specific to their region and their culture. This can be a threat to diversity. Current school students might get affected or stressed out on a sudden change of syllabus. An abrupt change in the syllabus may also hamper the stability of a student with the academics, which will not be a good turn. Most of the students in school rely a lot on the previous year's question before appearing for a test. With the new set of syllabus, those old questions will be redundant and that can degrade the preparation of the examinee. A new set of syllabus will bring in more workload on the teachers and parents too. Modification of old notes, going thoroughly through the syllabus all over again, preparing new questions, etc. will be popping up, and it may even be time consuming.
Development of education in our country. The education policy covers education at all states, including early childhood care and education, school education, higher education, teacher and vocational education. The curriculum framework must support exactly that it's a framework to help develop all the diverse curricula in the country while enabling consonances and harmony across the country and provide a basis for equality and equity. This educational policy is the first, I repeat, the first education policy of the 21st century in India and aims to address the many growing developmental imperatives of our country. As per the policy, the aim is to have an education policy by 2040 that is second to none, with equitable access to the highest quality education for all learners regardless of social or economic background. Thank you.
Okay, so whoever wrote this, you guys should be Indian Idol or something like that, because you're not meant for being in parliament, because you guys are just judging people.
Rohit Kumar. Who's Rohit Kumar? Okay, this chip has been written from someone from the opposition party, so it goes by to Rohit Kumar, the silent and the laziest MP of the parliament. To Kavya. Who's Kavya? Here's an anonymous check for Kavya. Kavya, written saying we were in majority for 75 years was really dumb.
To whoever was listening, I know a lot of political history first of all, and I'm not a robot like you all. I'm not programmed. I'm a human being. I make mistakes. Okay? And for all the political history first of all, tell me, for how many years have you been in power? Tell me.
You said we were in power.
Yeah, I made a mistake. I made a mistake.
Whosoever has written this, to Prime Minister, PM is only changing the colors of her bindi, not the situation. You are not a reformer. In what ways you will shock the world by our country's greatest achievements? You are just sitting with your cabinet minister. Would you like to respond to this? For the photography session.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, ma'am.
Satakshi. At all states, including early childhood care and education, school education, higher education, teacher and vocational
vocational education. The curriculum framework must support exactly that it's a framework to help develop all the diverse curricula in the country while enabling consonances and harmony across the country and provide a basis for quality and equity. This educational policy is the first, I repeat, the first educational policy of India in 21st century and aims to address the many growing developmental imperatives of our country. As per the policy, the aim is to have an education system by 2040 that is second to none, with equitable access to the highest quality education for all learners regardless of their social or economic background. Thank you.
Focus on product instead of process, lack of critical thinking, problem solving and creativity, focus on goal or objective without critical conversation, less professional freedom and judgment, more competitive on an individual basis because there is no collaborative effort, loss of teachable moments and student interaction, focuses on objective results, leads to testing lower level knowledge and memory emphasis, usually has a subject matter focus rather than personalized for each. Hereby oppose this bill strictly. Thank you.
I highly support this bill. Here goes my answer. Diversity in culture, language and the way of living is a core characteristic of a country. These differences integrate into one by being woven by common values that people share and the priorities to form one great nation, India. To pass this harmony and integrity to the next generation, I hereby propose you the idea of having one common curriculum in schools all across India. Every young mind of the nation will be given same values of human dignity, equality and freedom that our country teaches us, and hereby it is a right. This will help us. This will help the youth to unite as people of the same country and allow them to respect each other and understand each other. They will share the same level of knowledge, if not the same knowledge, though they are always encouraged to learn more. This will allow the students to compete at Olympiad at the same level and come face to face with dignity. The aim of this proposal is not to captivate minds to think at the limited level and put boundaries to the creativity of the young minds, but to integrate them as one nation of same values. Lastly, I would say that we do not restrict the people of a nation to think in a box. We just do not want one single section of the society to develop using this field of education, but to set wings in the mind of every student who dreams to succeed in life and achieve their life goals. Thank you.
It makes society monotone as they read the same books and the same type of thinking they develop. Just think in case of a forest life, if they are the same species of tree and living in a forest, and one day some disaster taken place which cannot be tackled by these species takes place, and they are just gonna die, and the whole forest will be destroyed, and evolution will be stunted. But if there are multiple species, then there may be some species which may be able to encounter, they may be able to tackle this disaster and save that species on themselves. But in any case, forests will be redeveloped and life will continue. Evolution continues. Thank you, ma'am.
India without any discrimination based on the child's social, economic or cultural background. बात यूसीएफ की हो रही है, क्रिएटिविटी की नहीं। एक तरह के पाठ्यक्रम के साथ 22 भाषा भी शामिल है। अगर आप ध्यान से इस बिल को पढ़ें तो आपको समझ में ये आएगा कि हम विविधता के साथ पाठ्यक्रम में एक रूपता लाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं। यह एक समान आधार पर शैक्षिक संरचना को भी प्रोत्साहित करता है। इससे छात्रों की शिक्षा स्तर की गुणवत्ता को हम उसके चरम सीमा पर पहुंचा पाएंगे, जिसके द्वारा हमारी देश की प्रगति भी संभव है। देश भर में एकरूपता लाने की चुनौती अगर हम उठाते हैं तो भारत के शैक्षणिक स्तर के विकास को कोई नहीं रोक सकेगा। मैं दोहराना चाहूंगी, तब हमारी भारत की शैक्षणिक स्तर के विकास को कोई नहीं रोक पाएगा।
में एकता वाला देश है। यहाँ अलग अलग तरह की संस्कृति, सभ्यता, परिवेश, भाषा, संस्कृति सभी अलग अलग तरह के क्षेत्र हैं, तो पाठ्यक्रम में इन विविधताओं को भी ध्यान में रखते हुए पाठ्यक्रम बनाने की ज़रूरत है। साइंस, मैथ के अलावा लिटरेचर सब्जेक्ट में पूरे देश में एक जैसी पढ़ाई की पॉसिबिलिटी नहीं है, क्योंकि सबकी अपनी अलग अलग संस्कृति है जिसे उनको जानना और समझना चाहिए। तो इस मामले में समानता संभव नहीं है। भारत सरकार के सभी स्कूल केंद्र और राज्य दोनों एक ही पाठ्यक्रम का पालन करने के साथ ही अपने अपने क्षेत्रों की जानकारी के साथ लोक संस्कृति के साथ अपने अपने क्षेत्र की भौगोलिक, राजनीतिक और प्राकृतिक को भी जानना अनिवार्य है।
This bill. Every individual have different qualities and mindset. They have perfectly adapted the education pattern they are following. If we make changes in the education pattern they are following, they might not be able to adapt the changes and polish their abilities. And even if they adapt to the changes in pattern, it will be very devastating and time consuming. So after all these negative points in the bill, are you still following this? Are you still supporting the bill?
Its own publication. If you want uniform education in the country, why don't you just select a single publication throughout the country? Why is it so? If you don't want to change the books, how can you give uniformity in the education?
Should this stress on, and the base is NCERT. The questions, the curriculum is always guided by the NCERT. However, it is the school's choice to teach from different books. However, the content will always be the same. I would ask you to understand the bill before proposing any ideas and neglecting it. Thank you.
Bill passed by our Education Minister. Our Constitution ensures equal opportunity for all students throughout the territory of India in the spirit of Article 14, Article 15 and Article 16. It promotes fraternity, unity and national integration among students of different educational boards and curtails the menace of regionalism and being rich or poor. Everyone knows that majority of well-off people prefer to send their kids to expensive private schools. But those without the money are trampled with dismay at the thought that their kids will not get proper educational facilities. Our government has taken upon itself that we will change this. The mere thought that there are extremely talented students in our country who feel they do not have access to proper educational facilities saddens us. This is why our government is planning the introduction of a common syllabus and curriculum in all government and private schools. Lastly, I would like to revise the major changes this bill will bring. It will bridge the gap between rich and poor students in terms of providing equal opportunities and improving results. And more importantly, give each student a fair chance to show their talent.
I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. The motion is adopted. Now, the clause 2 to 6 is a part of bill. There is one amendment in clause 2 by Srimati Sangmitra. Ma'am, are you moving it?
Similar facilities. The teachers cannot teach all the subjects and interviews are not held to appoint teachers. Having a uniform curriculum is beneficial in many ways, but not for all the students who belong to different cultures and societies. It decreases their thinking skills and reduces their chances of becoming creative. Diversity is also reduced. This is why same curriculum should not be followed throughout the country.
That clause 2 to 6 stands a part of the bill. Those who are in favor of it will say aye. Aye. And those against it will say nay. Aye. I think the nays have it, the nays have it, the nays have it. The motion is adopted. Now the question arises, clause 1 stands a part in the bill. Those who are in favor of it will say aye. Aye. And those against it will say nay. Nay. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. Motion is adopted. Clause 1 stands apart in the bill. Now the question arises, the bill will be passed. Those who are in favor will say aye. Aye. And those against it will say nay. Nay. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. The motion is adopted, the bill is passed.
Chit chat session, right? For you all, what debate? You want a debate to happen? I don't think so. The weather is getting harsher, kids. Please. You all want motion. These are the two chits. You can keep it over there. Yeah. The opposition party are supposed to start writing their piece of chits and their piece of comments, which they would like to give to the ruling party. And we already have collected chits from all the chits, but the only person who will be speaking in between is the person to whom the message has been written to. Okay, I don't want everyone to open up their mics and speak, start speaking. Okay? Yeah, you all want to write things? Yeah, you all. Yeah. So we'll open some new chits. I want the media person to hand over the chits to our. बहुत अच्छी है. Okay. Fine, fair enough. And then I'll now hand over the mic to our honorable speaker, ma'am.
So this second chit says that opposition party just know how to say shame, tell them to say anything else. The press, why are they so quiet? Don't they have any work, or are they the press, depressed? So this chit is to Tannet. You have a habit to stand in middle of the speech. You can stand, give your chair to us, we will use it. Another, you can give it to the beggars who are walking on the road.
कुर्सी में कांटा लगा है बैठिए
Now silence everyone. और आप मेरे सवाल का जवाब कैसे देंगे? आपके पास सही जवाब तो है नहीं. बस शादी मान के सवाल को आप चेंज कर देते हैं. सिर्फ आप फर्जी रिपोर्ट देते हैं. नहीं मैं मेरी कुर्सी.
Mr. Tannet, your request is please sit down. पहले अपने रिपोर्ट्स को चेक कर लीजिए, फिर हमें पॉलिटिकल हिस्ट्री सिखाइएगा. पार्लियामेंट में आने से पहले एक बार सोच लेना.
हम लोगों ने कष्ट किया है, आपने पैसा दिया है.
आपकी आवाज अच्छी है मैडम. अच्छा होता अगर आपकी नीयत भी अच्छी होती. ना दम है ना परिवर्तन इनकी सरकार में.
आप लोगों को करना चाहिए है ना, इसीलिए तो लोगों ने आपको चुना है.
कर रहे हैं.
कहाँ कर रहे हैं आप लोग? बताइए यार, अपना रिपोर्ट से क्या बोल रहे हैं?
आप दो चीजों में पीछे हैं. हम तो इलेक्ट हो गए, आप तो परिवर्तन लाए नहीं. आपसे तो इलेक्ट भी नहीं हुआ गया.
परिवर्तन की शुरुआत आपको संसद से निकालने से होगी. Please stop reading books. Is to the speaker.
Hello. Hello. Actually, I read books because I like being productive and like you.
Okay, enough. So now this chit is to the speaker. Ravina Tandon, please let us speak. I think I gave you all enough liberty to speak. At the first to speak, all the members interrupted, but only few times only I said. So
you should be thankful for that also.
Party select their own speaker from their member of parliament. Okay, because one of the kids yesterday while they were having this interview said कि speaker को ruling party ने खरीद लिया and he had no clue that speaker was a part of this whole stuff. And there is a deputy speaker when she is not there or she is not present and working. Then the deputy speaker is from the opposition party. He or she will then take charge of the speaker. Okay, so this is the thing. Okay, fine. They are not participating. They are busy writing chats. So I am giving you 2 more minutes to write as many things as you want in the chat. But after that, we'll start off with this whole thing. Okay? Done? Who else is there? She's still writing chats. But a check it, man. Then you have to write a comment. Don't take it very personally. You all are taking it very personally. You are. Please don't do that. Chalo.
Is to the advisor. Please don't sit as a statue, give some advice.
Hello. These are the boys who are sitting at the back.
Would you like to answer?
The boys.
Well, at least we are not making noise like empty utensils that they are doing.
Okay, fine. Let's move ahead.
So now we will move to the next chip. On this also it is not written to whom it is given. It is just written. The opposition party have no patience to hear. They only know to stand and shout.
Waste our times, we stand for the people outside and we raise our voices for them because you can't bring any change. We need to step up.
खड़े होने का इतना शौक है तो पार्लियामेंट के बाहर गार्डिंग कर लीजिए नहीं तो आपके लोग आ जाते हैं आप तो बैठिए
Okay, fine.
क्रिकेट का प्रेसिडेंट कौन है एंड हिज करियर इनिंग्स Okay, so this chit is to the boys at back. They are just sitting at back and just tapping the tables, useless people.
Let's go ahead.
Chit is to Raghav Ranjan. Please be respectful to everyone and stop being over smart. And they have written one word and one more word which I won't say because it is inappropriate. It is offensive, I must say. I request you to come in front of us and just try to repent. Just try to say a speech. I'm sure you won't be able to.
Raghav.
To the former secretariat boy is useless. Even though he went to opposition party, he's still useless and unworthy, and even all the boys from the opposition party.
God. You are dissing each